YouTube. Tonight it's Lindy and Dusty. Yes, this is Dusty. I know this is Bart's blanket, but as you can see over there, this little guy kind of had an accident on his own blanket, so we washed that. So he's borrowing Bart's, but yeah, it's Dusty. See his little pink nose? Bart's nose is black. But yeah, anyway, I thought tonight we'd talk about tips for traveling around China if maybe you want to take a vacation, or if you're working here but you have a holiday coming up and you just want to travel around a little bit. I recently came back from a 3-week trip around China with my mom because it was summer and we had some time off. Like, not actual time off. We had to make up the classes, but yeah, we got some time free and we just traveled around China, and I thought I would share some tips with you, share some stories about mistakes I made, so hopefully the same thing doesn't happen to you. So yeah, I'd say my biggest piece of advice, first and foremost, if you ignore everything else, that's fine, but if you only pay attention to one thing, this is what you pay attention to. If somebody comes up to you offering a service or some item or basically anything that's bad and you shouldn't do that, like for example at the airport when you get off like the plane, go down to the baggage claim, get your stuff, and then you're leaving, there are these guys that will come up to you, taxi, 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 you need car, taxi, no, they will completely overcharge you. They might not know where they're going. Like, that's bad. If you want to get a taxi, like, you just kind of go out to the main road and just do like the hail a cab thing, and they'll come and it'll be a real taxi, like not some guy trying to scam you, and it'll have a meter, like a real meter. I've seen this where they'll come up to you at the airport and be like, taxi, taxi, meter, because I guess they know that tourists have been told to use the meter. What they have, it's not a real meter, it's something like on their phone, and it'll jump ridiculously. No, the real meter is not connected to their phone. It'll be this thing that you can like flip, and it'll start with a number. In smaller cities, like my city in Baoji, it's 7 to get into the cab. In Beijing, it was like 15 to get into the cab. In Sanya, it was 10. So somewhere in that neck of the woods. If it's more than that, don't get in. And if it's not a real meter, if it's just like some guy's phone plugged in, don't get in. And when it comes to people selling stuff, if they come up to you and they try to sell you stuff, don't do it. You can probably find that. In fact, I pretty much guarantee you're going to find that at a fraction of the price in another store, or if you go to like the supermarket, you're going to find it cheaper. If someone comes up to you, don't go in there. Even with souvenirs, like you can find them cheaper at just like the local shops. Like even the grocery store will have like postcards and stuff. So unless you want to spend like a ridiculous amount, like just keep going, ignore them. My mom, oh, Lindy, like that's rude. No, Mom, I was getting really annoyed with her because she kept like talking to these salespeople. I'm like, no, do not make eye contact. Do not converse. Just go. Because there were these ladies where my mom made the mistake of talking to them, and they legit stalked us along the Great Wall. We were walking on the Great Wall, and there are these people that'll try and sell you stuff. Like, they walk and they talk with you, and they try and sell you stuff. And I was like, Mom, like, don't, because they're going to stalk. And, of course, my mom, like, being my mom, like, she's really kind, and she hasn't really learned the ropes. Yeah, she talked to them. And at the end, they're like, okay, you buy souvenir. And it's like, Mom, I knew this was going to happen. And they tried to sell us a fan, like this ugly fan, for $30. And it's like, no, that's ugly. I don't want that. And my mom's like, well, just give them something. Like, they followed us all this way. And it's like, oh my God, we did not ask them to follow us. They're just kind of stalkers that follow. And if you ignore them, they will go away. But yeah, if you talk to them, like, they're not going to go away unless you buy something. I tried to keep walking, but my mom, Lindy, like, come on. So I ended up buying this lovely pack of postcards from the Great Wall stalker ladies for like, I think it was $2.50 US, and yeah, came with 10 postcards. I sent some of them out. I guess that's nice, but yeah, stalkers, stalk, ignore. Do not make eye contact. You can find it cheaper somewhere else. And I guess something else I would have to point out, and this is in larger cities, like in Xi'an, they don't have these, in Baoji, they don't have these, but rickshaw guys. My advice for rickshaw guys is don't. Like, straight up, just don't. If for some reason, like, you feel like you have to get in a rickshaw, like your trip to China is not going to be complete without you getting in, fine, I guess I understand. But if you're going to do that, tell them where you're going, negotiate a price before you even, like, sit down in the rickshaw. Like, I will admit it, my mom and I made the mistake, even though somebody told us just straight up, like, just don't. We were lost, and we were looking at the map, we're trying to figure out how the hell do we get back to the hotel, and this dude comes up to us, and is like, oh, ride, like, go here, ride. And I'm like, okay, how much? And he said 30, and I'm like, okay, 30 kuai, okay? 30 kuai. And that's 30 in Chinese. Like, I know that's 30. I can count up to 100. And it's like, okay, okay. And this guy's just pedaling his bike, like, doing his thing. And a couple minutes later, like, his friend pulls up and was like, oh, 2 people, too heavy. You come in my rickshaw. And it's like, okay, so this is still going to be 30, right? 30. We asked for 1, you're doing 2. 30. Okay, okay. And he's like, yeah, okay, okay, okay. And the whole time he's telling me, like, oh, you're so good at Chinese, you're so beautiful, like, blah, 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 blah. And we get to this area that's not our hotel, and they're like, okay, you're here. And we're like, no, that's not the hotel. Like, that's not the hotel. Like, I don't know what's going on. And they're like, oh, go here. Yes, go here. Oh, I'm like, 30. Like, and my mom and I are like, whatever. Like, we kind of know where we are. Like, we can just get out and walk. Like, thank you. And he's like, no. And this guy, like, whips out this laminated card in his pocket, and it says, to this hotel, 300. No. I'm like, no. 30. We agreed to that. I said 30. I said 30. So, both language. To say 300 in Chinese, it would be san bai. No, I know what I said. I know what you said. And he's like, no. Like, this. No. And I put the 30 on the seat, and we just left. And they're like, no, you give for you and her. And it's like, no. Like, we agreed to that. And these guys just start, like, yelling. And I've noticed that, too. I think they're used to, like, tourists being startled that if they, whoa. Like, because in America, like, you don't typically yell like that. But in China, that's pretty normal. So my mom and I just walked away. And it's like, no, I'm not going to yell at you. I told you 30. I gave you 30. That's the way it is. And the guy actually legit said this. You are white people. I'm not rich, dude. I'm not rich. And that still doesn't change the fact that I said 30 and that's just the way it is. And yeah, that was just kind of, now I understand why they say rickshaws. Like, the advice to that is just don't. So yeah, just don't. But unless you're in a bigger city, that's probably not even going to be an issue. Something that they had, and, ooh, don't do that. That's not nice. Something else that they do is they'll have a little, like, business card with the hotel's phone number and, like, location on it, and you can show that to a cab driver to know where to go. You can show that to somebody if you need help, and yeah, save their phone number, so if you get into a situation, you can call them. All the hotels I stayed at, everybody was super nice, super helpful. They said don't hesitate to call, and, like, I didn't need to. But had it been an emergency, like, I would have trusted them, and it would have been okay. I think you should check out your hotel on TripAdvisor first. Like, that's pretty good. There's tons of reviews, and they're not even all in English. There's people from all different areas of the world to see if they can fluently speak the language that you speak and that you'd be happy staying there. Something else with shopping, and not so much with hotels. Hotels, you kind of have to live with it. But if it's for, like, a shirt or, like, magnets or, like, food or something, if it seems like, that's a little pricey, it's probably too expensive. Like, they see white people, they see tourists, they see $, they see renminbi, and they will try to overcharge you. So I guess if you like are really really worried about getting overcharged, you could go to like a supermarket. There's like Renlenle, there's Vanguard's, there is Walmart in the bigger cities, but yeah, if you want, I guess the more Chinese experience and you want to avoid Walmart, I get that. But if you're worried about being overcharged, I would just go to the supermarket and get your stuff there. And I guess if it's like from a street vendor and you can't reach a deal, don't worry about it. There's other street vendors selling the same stuff, so just walk away. And I've noticed that too, if you walk away, like they will chase after you and offer it at a lower price. So yeah, if it seems too expensive, it probably is. Don't worry about it. And if you're traveling around and you're traveling on the little like puddle jumper airplanes like within China, we took Lucky Air and I can't remember the other one we took, but a lot of the smaller ones you cannot use your phone, like even if it's on airplane mode to listen to music. No, you can't do that. And if you have like a power brick or whatever, you can't even use that to charge your phone. And I'm not sure why, but it's kind of ridiculous. So I guess just don't be surprised if they tell you to put your phone away, and even if you show them it's on airplane mode, they're still going to make you put it away. And yeah, I'm not sure why, coming from America, that's never been a thing. They say turn it off when you're landing and when you're taking off, but like once you're in the air, you can use it. No, that's not a thing. So maybe you should bring a book or a magazine or cross stitch or sleep or like something. But yeah, music or looking at pictures on your phone, that's not going to happen. If you decide to take the train, they don't care if you have like your phone or your computer or whatever. But this happened to me. I had a bag stolen on the train because we took a sleeper train and we shared the cabin with 2 other people, and I'm not sure if they did it or since it was a sleeper train and it was night, if somebody just came in while we were sleeping. And I was annoyed, but at the same time, my passport, my money, my computer, like stuff like that, there's on a sleeper train, there's like 2 levels and then there's a ledge where you put stuff, and I was on the top bunk and I had my purse and my computer bag on top of the ledge. So in order for someone to get that, they would have to climb up the sleeper bunk, step on me, wake me up, which I would have like punched them in the face. And yeah, I guess if you don't want something stolen, put it up on the ledge. Where I had the bag that got stolen was under the bed. And I guess if it was nighttime and we were sleeping, they could have just taken it. And I didn't see the other people in the cab leaving with my bag. And it was a pretty unique bag. It was a gray Tokidoki bag with all the little characters on it. So yeah, that was pretty noticeable. For the rest of the time in that city, I was looking, I'm like, if I see somebody with that bag, I'm going ham on them. But no, it's gone. Chinese person who got my bag with my pajamas and my Lunaforio and my 3DS. Like, I'm mad at you. But yeah, please don't do that. Please don't do that. If you don't want something stolen, you can put it on the ledge, or I guess maybe you could put it by your head if you're sleeping on the bottom bunk. Yeah, that's just something I thought was kind of crappy, but I guess learn from your experience. They didn't get anything super important. I guess it's okay. And I know they tell you in America, do not give your passport to anybody. Like, passport is either like in your hand, in your bag, or like it's with the customs officer and it's in plain sight of you. What they do at hotels in China, and I've been in Korea and I never had to do this. In America, I didn't have to do this when I stayed at hotels for stuff, is you have to give them your passport and they like make a copy of it, and I guess they record it with the police. Like if something happens, it's on record, and that's normal here. I guess that's the law. So even though you've been told, oh, don't give your passport to anybody, no, I promise the Chinese hotel is not trying to scam you. That's just the rule. They give it back right away. They just make a scan of it to keep it on record. So don't worry about that. This is another story that I didn't know about Chinese hotels until I got here, is in America, when you pay for the hotel, they keep the credit card number. So if you make like a total mess in your room, if you eat everything in the minibar and you refuse to pay for it, they have the credit card, so they'll just run that. In China, sometimes they'll ask you for like 1,000 renminbi deposit for the room, and they'll give you a receipt, and then you just check out. You give them the receipt, they check that you didn't destroy the place, you get your money back, and I guess that's normal. The first time I stayed at a hotel in China, this wasn't with my mom, this was with another person, But we got there after a crazy cab ride. I didn't know the thing about, oh, like, don't just go with some person that comes up to you. So I got totally, like, ripped off on the cab ride. I was not in the best mood. And we get to the hotel, and they, like, I show them the reservation on my phone, and they're like, okay, gay sanbai, or not sanbai, I think it was chibai, which is 700 renminbi, and I'm like, whoa, that's like 120 bucks. And I'm like, no, I paid for this online with PayPal. I have the receipt, and the people at the desk didn't speak English, and my Chinese wasn't at the point where I could understand it. And they're just like, oh, like, gay, like, give it. And I'm like, no, I just got ripped off. I have not slept. I am in a really, really lousy mood. No, I'm not giving you money. Give me the key now. And they did. And then they proceeded to call up to the room every like 45 minutes talking at me in Chinese, asking for like money, and I got really mad, and finally like they called, and I was ready to like just and finally they spoke English. Somebody spoke English, and it's like, oh, she didn't master Chinese in the span of 3 hours. We should probably talk to her in English. I said, oh, it's for a deposit. Can you please come down? We'll give you a receipt. Oh, okay, sure. No problem. So I guess I'm just forewarning you, they're not trying to steal your money. They'll give you a receipt, and you'll get it back when you check out. You give them the receipt if you didn't make a huge mess. They're really good about that. Most things in China take a super, super long time. Getting your money back when you give them the receipt, that takes all of like 2 minutes. Like, I was actually surprised at how fast that went. So that's really about it. If I travel more and I have more tips, I will make some more videos. Thank you for watching, and have a good night or morning or day whenever you're watching this. Thanks. Bye-bye.